It's July 21st. Last video was a week ago, actually better than a week ago, and I was trying to get down to Pensacola before my grandmother died. I ended up being stuck at that on-ramp at that overpass on Interstate 26 for 22 hours, and I was hiking up. I had actually shouldered the pack, and I was going to hike up to where I could maybe catch some people coming in off the on-ramp. And I got picked up by a fella named Teeny. He's from Irwin, Tennessee. Wonderful fella. He was just going to be able to give me a lift up to the next exit or so, and couldn't afford the gas to go into Asheville, and I paid him $50 because, quite honestly, I said this is cheap, because I couldn't get Uber to pay, to pick me up and bring me down there for more money. So for more than that. So, it's cheap at that price to get to Irwin. To get to Asheville. So I got into Asheville about 5:30. My reservation, which was at 2, we changed it to 4. No, which was at 1, then we changed it to 4. And I had a 2-hour window. I kind of slipped in under the wire because they closed at 6. So I got there about 5:30. After pretty much giving up hope, I got at 4:45. I got a lift from the interstate and got all the way into 45-minute drive to where I needed to be, and it was very fortunate. So I got in. I got the rental car. I was about an hour on the road when I got the text that grandmother died. So at that point, it became less of a hurry. Of course, I'd already stopped, and I stopped at a Pilot because I was filthy, and I got a shower stall and showered up and drove on down to Pensacola, where everybody was, and they were going to be there. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, I pulled over at Flomaton and took a nap because I didn't want to wake everybody up when I got there. And drove on in. About 7 I drove in. I got there about 8 or so, 8 or 9. Grandmother had already been taken off, of course, and Uncle Mike and Danielle and, well, pretty much everybody had already left. I talked with Aunt Billy Joyce. I had anyway, so I sat there and tried to help. Tried to do some stuff. Didn't get much done. Kind of what I planned or what I wanted to do. That day I ended up not doing. I didn't want to. Kind of sat down for a minute and closed my eyes for about a half hour, and anyway, so the next morning, after talking and such with Janet and Wendy and Aunt Billy Joyce and who else? Aunt Norma Jean, Cheryl. I think Aunt Norma Jean and Cheryl were still there when I got there. It's been a week. I don't remember things. Anyhow, the next day we all drove up to. I had a couple of friends in the area that one from Monroe, Michigan, which somehow ended up in Milton, and another one who grown up in Aurora, Colorado, and his family had lived in Gallatin, Tennessee, and we were good friends at college. He ended up in Pace, and his child was taught by Katie and JJ knew him, and had known of him, and so so when I met with JJ, I actually had dinner with JJ and the kids and everybody. Well, JJ's family, and JJ told me that after a nice conversation about a lot of things, but he told me that John had some mini strokes, and so I went. So when we got up to go to come up to Alabama, I had sent out some text messages to John and to Tom Nolan, and asked him about how you doing, you up for visitors or whatever, and actually I just dropped in on John, and I missed John. He was out, and so then I left and went down to Tom, who was at Baptist Hospital, and visited with him for about an hour or so, and then I drove back, and went to lunch with John. He said he was they'd fixed the problem that he'd had with the strokes and stuff. Gave me some information that dextromethorphan, I think, that if you're taking that while you're having a stroke, his neurologist has said that it greatly diminishes the damage that you get from the stroke. So I was out with Wendy and stopped at CVS and got essentially some cough medicine for everybody, and shared with them exactly how that would help and everything. Anyhow, so the week went on. I didn't have much to do. Uncle Mike put me to work a little bit, but I tried to get some stuff done. I got some stuff done, but for the most part, during the week I didn't do much, and I didn't visit with Robbie or Terry or Kathy or Ann Lois or Roy and Louise. I mean, I was just in a funk, and I had the rental car and everything, and I just didn't really get out and do anything. So hopefully, being out on the trail, I'll get over it, and if I can, then I will. I mean, time wounds all heals, right? So the funeral was Thursday. Viewing was Wednesday night. I hadn't seen her when I was down in Florida, grandmother that is, and I was really glad that that they had the viewing. I don't know about other people, but I know seeing them gone, seeing Daddy laid out, seeing Uncle Alan, I mean, it helps say goodbye for me. I mean, it helps. It's almost like I have to see them to know that they're no longer here. And I went up and watched and looked at grandmother and studied on her and cried a little bit. It was just sitting there, and yeah, it came over me. Okay, I know she's gone. This is not grandmother. This is not where she is now, and that was important. And I'm very happy that I got to say goodbye tour in my mind, I know she wasn't there. I know it was good for Uncle Mike. He was able to get there before she passed. Drive down from Tuscaloosa before she passed. So it was important. But yeah. And we've had some good visits with relatives. I mean, last night the girls and I and their kids went over and visited with Roy and Louise and a bunch of their kids. Robbie was over there. We were over at Carrie's house, and it was just a nice time together, and I knew that if I'd gone over there during the week, it would have been enjoyable. But this is such a downer of a video. But yeah, I hadn't. So today we got out early and drove about as steady as I've ever driven, and we still ended up leaving Tuscaloosa later than we thought. I was ready at 7:30, which is good because Kathleen wasn't able to fuss at me. But by the time we got all the stuff together, went over and picked up Caitlin from where Colleen's condominium, and got out on the road. It was 9:30 or so, and then we hit traffic at Birmingham and Chattanooga and Knoxville. I mean, we hit traffic everywhere, and so we actually ended up getting to instead of getting there at 4, instead of getting at the rental place at 4, we got there about 6:15, which is 15 minutes after they'd closed, but the young lady waited and it was wonderful. I mean, she waited and we checked out and we were done. So it was good. It was good that we had that. We just barely slept in, and that's after driving all day, pretty steady, as fast as we could. Not as fast as we could, but as fast as it was mostly legal to do. So with that all being said, we got in, and then Kathleen drove up and dropped me off. We were able to, we passed over a couple of places where the trail crossed the interstate, and I was pointing out where I was trapped for 22 hours and where I had stayed for 2 weeks, and where it crossed over at I-40 and where it crossed over from where I was trying to hitchhike at I-26. And then Kathleen dropped me off here where I left the trail. So you'll be getting another video from me tomorrow. We'll be back on the regularly scheduled trail videos, but that's where I've been for the last week and a half, is going down for my grandmother's funeral. So and hopefully tomorrow I'll be a little bit more perky. All right, take care, enjoy yourselves.